Years and years ago, when I had a real job, when I worked in the real world, not that ministry's not a real job, um, but years and years ago, I worked in the real world. I worked for Best Buy for about 8 years, and there were there were things that I constantly had to do in order to in order to keep my job. There was work that I consistently had to do. I consistently had to perform. I had to consistently meet goals and keep up and all of those kinds of things. And it was exhausting. It never, it never went away. There were never moments during the week or during the month or during the year where I did not have to think about what I was doing, what the people around me were doing in order to ultimately keep my job. And like I said, that was relentless. One of the things I noticed during my time at Best Buy as the years went on, like when we would get ready for the Christmas season, which was huge for us, as you can imagine, like our prep time for the Christmas season kept having to be earlier and earlier and earlier during the year. And those weeks like always got busier. There was always something to do. And ministry's a lot like that. There's little downtime. But working for a company that's not the church is a completely different space. There's always a quest to perform. There are always people who are outperforming you. You're always in a competition to do better than other people. You're always in a competition to meet company goals. You're always in a competition, always in a competition. And for a lot of us, life is like that. We feel this constant need to perform, to do better than we did last year. And that can bleed over into our relationship with God, to where we constantly feel like we have to keep up. We constantly feel like we have to perform. We constantly feel like we have to do things to earn God's pleasure with us. The way we've talked about that over the past few months, whether it was like the first part of our Galatians series or what we just talked about with the big story, is we consistently feel like we have to do things to earn our salvation. And then once we're saved, we consistently have to do things to maintain our salvation. So we have to read our Bible a certain number of times. We have to pray a certain number of times. We have to behave a certain number of times. We have to do the right thing a certain number of times. We have to do all of those things in order to maintain our salvation. And we're going to talk more about this. Like we're getting to the part in Galatians, because I know there's some tension that's created. But us earning and maintaining our salvation through our behavior is just not the way it works. It's just not. Galatians 4:7 says, "Now you are no longer a slave, but God's own child. And since you are his child, God has made you his heir." So our salvation through the person of Christ, because of the sacrifice of Christ for us, like has placed you securely into the kingdom. Like when you believe that on faith, that's what the text tells us. For you are, this is Galatians 3:26. For you are all children of God through faith in Christ Jesus. See, because of what Christ has done and because of our faith in Christ Jesus, because of the way we believe that, not a work, because of our faith, you're in. If you have accepted Christ's work on your behalf, you're in. And what you ought to just do with that is breathe. What you ought to just do with that is accept it. Find your comfort in that. Find your rest in that. Find your peace in that. Find your hope in that. Find your trust in that. that what Jesus has done for you is sufficient. It's enough. I hope that as we've gone through this letter together, that you will just rest in the finished work of Christ on your behalf. I love you. I'm praying with you. I'm praying for you. We'll talk to you again soon.